All right. So now we just had an argument right there because I was doing this. Anyways, 8 weeks out from pro debut for Miss Lynette, who decided to just rub it in my face that she's a pro today, like she always does. Anyways, so 8 weeks out. Over the past 2 weeks, we dropped 3 pounds about-ish. But the nice thing is muscles staying the same. We've been going back and forth, up and down after our refeeds every week, but then it's right back down. Probably about Tuesday, Wednesday, it's starting to drop again, and then it's back down lower again. Looking tight, looking like about where we want to look as far as 8 weeks out. Honestly, probably a little ahead of schedule, so we'll do another sushi refeed again today. Keep an eye on it this week, kind of see how that's going. We changed breakfast. That was something that we changed. And so I changed that basically to all whole foods. So beef,
more egg whites, spinach, and coconut oil instead of peanut butter.
That one. And we got rid of the peanut butter. Reason for that is digestion, how fast you burn through the fat source. So instead of having a peanut butter, which has a little bit of carbohydrates, and then also is a little bit more on the saturated aspect of things as far as fats go, we went with something that's going to be more unsaturated fats with coconut oil. So that was the idea behind it. And we got a good results out of that this week, just because that's the only thing really we changed this week.
It's literally the only thing we changed aside from upping cardio 10 minutes on steady days, which is an extra 50 minutes a week.
Yeah. So basically, in a roundabout sense, it's like a little under a day's worth of minutes for cardio. That we added. So 10 minutes a day over the entire span of the week. So those were our only changes this week. We had a really good week this week. Again, brought it in even tighter this week than we did last week. And at 8 weeks out, I'd say we're in a pretty good place right now. Body's actually doing well with stress right now, for the most part. So
that was the only other thing that was something I noticed this week was stress was starting to hit me a little harder. So I did start just supplementing with some cortisol control and things like that too, which helped. So I could feel the difference.
Yeah. So right now, where we're at with stress, we're going to start to use adaptogens to kind of help push us past this point. So that's where things like cortisol, which is phosphatidylserine, ashwagandha, and a couple other natural roots will actually help to kind of keep all of those stress markers in check as we keep continuing to push harder and harder. So if we notice that this week your body's not recovering, which it's going to start to get to the point where we're going to have to back off quite more often than push, we start to see that, then we'll, like I said, we'll take it back a little bit, change the HIIT cardio over to steady state cardio, maybe even take a day where we don't even do cardio, or we cut cardio in half. It really just depends on the body at this point in time. As far as how lean she is, she's probably pretty close. I would say probably about 2 to 3 weeks away from what she looked like when you got your pro card, probably, as far as look-wise right now.
Yeah, as far as look-wise goes. Yes.
So realistically, we're pushing into that area that's going to start getting to the point where she's never been there as far as how lean she's going to be. And so this is where it's going to start getting kind of hairy as far as how we adjust things moving forward, because her body's never been here. And so this is going to be a learning experience not only for her but also for me as we move forward through this point in time.
This morning with pictures, when I did the front relaxed pose and just working with my legs are in the front completely at 8 weeks out, which they weren't until about 3 weeks out last year.
Right.
So huge difference.
Yeah.
And about 5 or so pounds heavier too. So.
And I will say the one thing that I've noticed is we're getting to that point now where her body is not only physically getting stressed but emotionally getting stressed. So we had a little bit of a breakdown earlier this week, but that's part of the process. Understand that your hormones are going to be doing all sorts of weird things. She was knocking on wood earlier. Her cycle might be done now. We don't know for sure. But that's the thing is even if you keep everything in control as far as stress and making sure the body's not pushed beyond its limits, you can still end up losing your cycle going into a show. It's not always the case, but just so you know, it's not a definitive thing that you're always going to lose it either if you're keeping an eye on all this stuff and making sure you're healthy, quote unquote, going into a show. So That's it. This week's a pretty easy week. We're gonna barely make any sort of a manipulation. We're gonna kind of just coast this week. Like I said, as we are right now, we're a little bit ahead of schedule, and I'm not trying to drop the hammer at 8 weeks out. I want her to keep the size that we can this week, and I want her to just kind of pull in a little bit tighter this week without going overboard.
The only other thing I do want to point out, just so that we don't forget to, is health markers were kind of starting to trend downwards.
Yes.
So I was at a 6 yesterday morning. We did let off of cardio yesterday, so instead of my normal 90 minutes, we did just 30 minutes.
Yep.
And then just kind of took the night off to relax. And I did take a little bit of a cortisol before bed, which shot me back up to a 9 as well too. So that was super helpful.
Yeah, so like I said, we're kind of trending into that area where her body, the unknown, if we want to say. And so now this is where times where you back off, and when you have to. And like she said, you know, we saw, it was probably 3 or 4 days straight where we started to see everything trending down.
Yeah,
pretty
slowly.
rapidly.
Started with the emotions, and then
that was what, Monday? No, Tuesday. Monday or
Tuesday.
One of those days. Yeah.
And then after the emotions, then the health markers started to go a little bit. And then that's when we started to pull in the cortisol, and then that's when it started to go back up.
Yep. Yeah. So, you know, like I said, at this point in time, we're really manipulating things as we go. And it could be one of those things where her cardio could be cut back. We don't know. We'll see. We'll see how her body responds. But I will tell you, sometimes you do have to push through, because like she said, there were a couple days where we were at a 6, but we just pushed it. And when you get to this state of prep, you kind of have to understand what you're looking at. And sometimes you do have to push, and sometimes you have to back off. And last night was one of those, or yesterday was one of those days where I was like, let's chill. Let's give you a break.
So you had already pushed it once.
Yeah, exactly. We had already pushed through once, and we got lucky. Her body didn't freak out too much. And then it got to the point where the health markers got to a point that I wasn't comfortable with, and how she was feeling as far as being run down and just sore and beat up. It was time to just back off. So it's a much more in-depth process. This takes a lot more time on both of our ends to make sure that we're doing everything right instead of just handing a plan and going to it. But from what we've seen so far, the results have speaking for themselves. So it'll be interesting to see what we see over the next 8 weeks and how her body responds. Yeah, we got more than enough time. So stay tuned. We got a workout now after this. We're gonna do a back workout. Theoretically, because of where her cycle should be, she can push heavy today, so we're going to push heavy on this back workout. So Jake will put a back workout somewhere in this area over one of our faces.
Over his face.
Oh, mine. Okay, cool. And follow along.